Hi, Keith.
Hi, Jeff.
Okay, pretty soon, Governor Ned Lamont will deliver his first budget to the General Assembly. So my first question to you is this a real budget? Is this show? Is it theater? Is it an opening statement? What is it?
It's a little bit of all of the above. It is probably more than anything else important because it sets the tone. It starts a budget debate that's going to go on for months. If they do their work on time, it'll be over in May. If they don't, it can roll on. We've seen them go into November, but it's a very important starting point.
Can I ask, has it always been the case that it would take an entire session? The main job of a legislative session is to pass the budget, and it can take until the last hour of that session to pass it? Is that just a fact?
It certainly has always been the case in modern history. It can regularly, not always, but regularly take, or I should say frequently take, more than the regular session to do it. They should get their work done by May or June. We've seen budget debates that stretched into August, September, and in 2017, we saw it go into early November.
So the governor will come with a budget which is what? Effectively a list of his top priorities?
Exactly. I mean, more than anything else, the first thing the governor's going to do is he will show most of his cards. The governor doesn't always show all of their cards, but you are going to see top priorities. For example, 2015, Governor Malloy came out. He made a big pitch for a transportation rebuild. Even though he didn't get it, that dominated his second term. He came back again and again on that.
Got it. And what other sorts of things do you see? I mean, will we know the answer to tolls?
That's a good point. Sometimes the budget tells you as much for the blank spaces or for what it's just as important for what it doesn't say. As far as tolls, Governor Lamont, if he is really willing to consider tolls on anything more than trucks, he said in the campaign trucks were all he'd consider, the first step will be if he doesn't mention anything else. He may just leave it up to the legislature to offer that. I was thinking, though, about in 2009, Governor Rell didn't want to have to raise taxes as we're going into recession. She couldn't or didn't want to figure out where to cut the budget, so she just produced a budget that was billions of dollars out of balance the day it arrived. The estimate from nonpartisan analysts was $2.7 billion out of balance. That budget spoke more for what it was missing than for what it actually said.
Procedurally, in a perfect world, what happens with the budget? The budget comes, the governor submits it to the General Assembly. Does it then get broken up into little pieces and sent to relevant committees? How does that work?
The Finance Committee is going to look at the revenue side.
Money coming in.
Exactly. And the Appropriations Committee will break it into a slew of subcommittees that will look at all the different segments of government. The legislature will get its first look at what all the different departments and all the agency heads, what the commissioners are asking for. They'll get to talk to them, and that's really their chance to get a deep dive into the numbers.
Okay, so then when it comes to timing as far as the budget's concerned, this budget is coming later than most budgets on any given year, right?
Correct. Normally we get it in early February. If you really want to go to the statutes, it says it's the first Wednesday after the first Monday. What that means is somewhere between the 3rd and the 9th of February. Whenever we have a transition, though, the new governor gets a little extra time. It's between the 14th of February and the first session day. That this year is February 20th. That's the day Governor Lamont has selected. Of course, weather permitting, if we get a storm, that could change it, but that's when it should be coming.
All right. Keith Phaneuf covers all things budget related for the Connecticut Mirror, and he is kind enough to spend a few minutes with us. Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, Jeff.